It's the last few days of the UPA government and its last 20 months have been periods of perhaps a lot of corrective activity pictured or rather led largely by the CCI, the Cabinet Committee of Investments. Now recent data suggests that the effort in the last 20 months is bearing fruit and nearly 90% of the investment in large projects which were held up have now been cleared and investments have materialized. To give us an update of what exactly has been the record of the Cabinet Committee of Investments, Anil Swarup, Additional Secretary at the Cabinet Secretariat and Head of the Projects Monitoring Group in the CCI, joins in. Good morning, Mr. Swarup. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, give us the numbers really.
Good morning.
In the, 20-odd months that the Cabinet Committee of Investments has been in operation, what was the tally you all started with in terms of unfinished projects? And at the end of its term, what is the number of projects where money has actually come in?
The Cabinet Committee of Investment was actually constituted in the month of December 2012.
Okay.
But subsequently, the government also set up the Project Monitoring Group to assist the Cabinet Committee, and this was done in July last year. So effectively, the Project Monitoring Group has been working for around 10 months.
Okay.
When we started it all, there were about 64 projects that were put on the portal that was there for resolution of various issues that were stalling these projects. Today, we have around 450 projects that we are sitting on.
Okay.
Out of these, 153 projects have been facilitated for clearance, and these projects entail an investment of about 5.44 lakh crores of rupees. We subsequently sought data from the industry itself to ascertain whether actual investment is happening on the ground. Since we were dependent totally on the industry to give us this data, we have got data for about 113 such projects that have been cleared. That entailed an investment of about 3.7 lakh crores, out of which about 3.2 lakh crores has actually been invested on the ground. So we do believe that a lot of investment has actually happened on the ground.
Okay.
There have been questions that subsequent to the clearance of these problems and issues, actual investment is not taking place. Our understanding is if an industry is running up and down to get their approvals and get their clearances, they would certainly be interested in making investments. And the list that I have mentioned to you of 153, these are such projects where all the issues that had been raised by the industry have been cleared. There are a large number of other issues that have been cleared, but they don't find mention in the list because some issues are still pending clearance.
Okay. Mr. Swarup, you've given us these numbers of 3.2 lakh crore out of the total amount of 3.7 lakh crore for 113 projects have been spent. Now, were these spent all already on in December 2012 when the CCI was set up, or has a bulk of the money been spent post, in the past 18 months?
My understanding is that most of it would have been spent earlier because the objective of setting up of Project Monitoring Group was to provide last mile clearance, wherein the investment had already happened but not actually fructified in terms of power generation or production because certain clearances were still awaited. To give you a typical example, investment had happened in a large number of power sector projects. There was no fuel supply available. For 2 years, there was no fuel supply agreement signed because there was no decision with regard to fuel supply agreement. This decision actually happened in the month of July last year, consequent to which an approval is given for signing of FSA for 78,000 megawatt. And I'm glad to inform you that out of these 78,000, FSAs have actually been signed for 70,000 megawatt and others are in the pipeline. So decisions were taken and they were actually implemented on the ground.
Can you tell us a few of the key projects out of this 153 which have been can you tell us a few of the key projects that have been cleared and where investment has already started taking place?
Most of these projects are power projects because they were held up on, as I said, for fuel supply agreement, about 78,000 megawatt. They are power projects, coal projects, petroleum projects, and some of them are road projects.
Okay. How do you expect this benefit to be realized in the economy? Will it be in the nature of banks having less NPLs going forward, projects that could have become bad, not becoming bad? Or is it the benefit will flow to more medium and small scale industries which were dependent on these large projects? How do you see them getting realized in the economy?
I think both will follow. First of all, I think the very purpose of setting up project monitoring group was to ensure that this investment did not go bad. And so, to that extent, I think bankers should be happy that the investment that had been made, the money that had been spent, would not go bad because the project has started moving. The impact on medium and small scale industry and otherwise would happen over a period of time. It won't happen immediately, because as these projects start happening, it will also create a climate wherein investors will feel slightly more assured in terms of getting clearances faster than they were getting otherwise. So it will have an impact on the economy over a period of time, but the immediate impact of these clearances would be on the banks, which would otherwise would have suffered a lot as a consequence of these loans going bad.
You said 450 projects were on your portal, out of which 153 have been cleared. So that leaves a pending projects of about 300, 300 projects. What's the plan with respect to these?
No, let me explain this to you. No, let me explain this to you. When we started it all, as I said, there were about 60-odd projects. As the industry got more and more confidence in the process that we had put in place to resolve issues, more and more issues or more and more projects started coming up. Now, out of these around 440, 450 projects, there are about 40 projects wherein we feel that we can't take any action because they are either in the courts of law or otherwise, there are issues that we can't do. Then there are about 20 projects where we have recommended action before the CCI, that is, where the various departments have not reconciled with the difference of opinion, and the appropriate body to take decision is the Cabinet Committee on Investment. So effectively, we will have about 230, 240 odd projects, which we are still handling, some of which are projects like railway projects, wherein immediate resolution may not be possible because we first got the stage 1 forest clearance given. Now the compliances are taking place, and then the stage 2 forest clearance will take place. So what you see as clear projects are projects where all issues have been resolved. In some other projects, some issues have been resolved. Others are in the process of getting resolved.
Okay. Mr. Swarup, can you give us an idea about, the power sector only? While you're right in saying that the FSAs have been signed, many of the power plants, after generating power, have been stymied by want of demand. So, while you may have, the CCI may have removed bottlenecks, what is the actual increase in output over the past 18 months?
I do not have the numbers straight away, and let me confess, that was not our mandate either. Our mandate...
No, I agree. I agree. I'm not asking you to speak from your mandate, Mr. Swarup. I'm only asking you what is the actual impact for the economy, because some of them were, procedural problems, but some of them have also been stymied by want of demand or because of financial issues at the DISCOM level, the distribution company level. So, for the economy, as a person who looks at it very closely...
Fortunately, I'm not an economist and I'm neither an expert. Basically, a job was given to us, we are trying to do that. But to attempt to answer your question, yes, indeed, there have been some problems in terms of states like Maharashtra and Gujarat, which already have so-called surplus power. They don't want power from these projects. The grid connectivity is a bit of an issue, so where there is a shortage, maybe in southern part of India, we have not been able to transfer that power there. So there are issues. I'm sure that after resolution of issues that came to us, attention would now be given to these issues, and these power projects will also come through. But my understanding is it is not true of most of the projects. Yes, indeed, some projects have been stalled on account of these issues beyond our control, but majority of the projects do not face this issue.
Okay. Well, one final question. How many projects worth how many crore rupees are stymied because of state government approvals? Therefore, what is the unfinished agenda?
Let me explain this to you again. About 50% of the issues relate to state government in terms of land acquisition, in terms of law and order, in terms of water supply, the number of issues. But fortunately, all the states have come on board. We've been having meetings in the states. We travel to the states, have discussions with them. A lot of issues are getting sorted out. So as I said, there are almost 50% of the issues related to state governments. But the good news is that almost all states have come on board. Not only have they come on board, they have taken a decision, 14 of them, to set up state project monitoring groups to monitor projects below 1,000 crore. As you know that our mandate is for projects above 1,000 crore. They have bought in this whole idea of setting up project monitoring group for consistently and persistently monitoring these projects, and they have taken this decision to set up state project monitoring group as well for them to resolve issues relating to projects below 500 crore.
No, I just want to know what is the unfinished agenda, because that will be the good news waiting to happen.
You know, the unfinished agenda happens in terms of our continuous effort to resolve the remaining issues which relate to environment, forest, which relate to land acquisition. These issues, I mean, this is something not coming new. What is coming new are newer projects that are coming to us.
How much is that number? What is the number of projects and the value of money that is still to be unlocked?
We have about 230 odd projects, which have still to be resolved by us. And even as I speak to you, the numbers would be going up because the industry is free to upload their projects every day, and the number is increasing.
And this would be costing how much value of investment? 230 projects?
This would be about 10 lakh crores.
All right, Mr. Swarup, we'll leave it at that, but the Indian economy will be watching with anxiety and hope even to these 10 lakh crores being unlocked pretty quickly if the process that has been set in motion actually bears fruition. We appreciate you taking time out for us. Mr. Swarup, thank you very much for joining us. That's Anil Swarup joining us from the sidelines of the Edelweiss Infrastructure Conference.